Hello and welcome to this demo of Countdown Record Plus Auto Stop. And what we have here is a drop-down menu of plenty of transforms that can activate as soon as your countdown hits 0 and starts playback. The beauty of this is, as opposed to Vanilla Blender, you don't miss a hitch from frame 1 to frame end of recording your input. This is useful for puppeteering and is also useful for caching physics of rigid body objects, such as these right here. How do we actually use Countdown Record Plus? Well, you can set your countdown to whatever time length you'd like. I've got mine on 3 seconds. You can set a transform to activate if you want it to as soon as the countdown ends and starts the playback. Whatever transform you have selected is going to activate on the selected object. And there are plenty of detailed tooltips for each transform to help you understand what it's for. So what we're going to do with this physics room is add an auto trackball, and we're going to do countdown record, and we'll count down from our 3 seconds. Now I can input this mouse motion, and I haven't had to do any keyboard shortcuts. All I did was click the countdown record, and I'm concentrating on moving my mouse to capture that input. And because we have auto stop enabled, it stopped recording at the last scene frame that we set, which is frame 250. But first, I must warn you, if you do decide to use physics rigid body objects, you're going to have to use auto stop and then current cache to bake to preserve your volatile cache. Then you can go back and play it and see what you captured. So here we have exactly what we recorded. Rotation of the room and the rigid body physics objects interacting with that. Super cool. Now, what if we select that camera and go to walk mode or fly mode? Those can be triggered as soon as countdown reaches 0 and frames start rolling. So we'll do fly mode, and I'm going to back the camera up with the WASD keys. That's the controllers for this, and I can kind of aim it here and pivot around. And so it recorded all of our camera motion into keyframes, which is super convenient if you'd like to have these camera control features. Walk mode is another convenient one if you're doing architectural visualization. In fact, I will go ahead and add another camera to countdown record. And with this camera selected already, it's going to start recording our walk mode, and I can kind of nudge the direction here. And you'll notice, since we started recording here back on roughly frame 134 or 35, that's where it started recording from when countdown reached 0. And it auto stopped at our scene's end frame, which is 250. So Countdown Record Plus is very flexible in that you can start recording at whatever your timeline is set to, current frame. It'll start recording from there, and it will stop at your scene's end frame. And of course, you can change your end frame to be whatever you want. So literally we could start 98 and we could end here at 124. Let's give it a shot. Countdown record with the camera selected. Walk mode is going to be triggered. And it recorded those keyframes of me panning to the right. So great. It works. It works with all of these transforms, with whatever object you have selected. It works, and it's super helpful to prevent a lot of cleanup that usually happens because Vanilla Blender, as many of you probably know, likes to loop playback, which is fine if you're watching an animation and you need to see it playback. But when you're recording, it tends to get in the way because when it loops, it overwrites keyframes. So auto stop is super helpful for that. There are other settings in here that are more obscure. So I've got the main ones that you would want to use for puppeteer work here at the top for convenience sake. So grab is your standard G key grab. Auto trackball is up here, number 2 transform, because it's so versatile. So I really like it because you can start to get some really expressive puppeteering work done and smooth it out later. And if you have a gaming mouse, you could turn down the sensitivity potentially to create finer inputs here. Just depends on what you want to do. But puppeteering is a very cool technique to use with this add-on. It helps tremendously because it prevents a lot of keyframe cleanup in the end. And it could very well give you the ideal concentration needed to get a great performance right out of the bag and minimally smooth your keyframes after the fact. So I very much appreciate having all these transforms ready to go, and the fact that it can auto stop at the end of your scene frame. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that this add-on will help you at least as much as it's helped me. Available now at theblendermarket.com. Thanks for watching.